Suppity guys, you got excellent name here, and I am back again for my week 6 match versus Hutch. Make sure to check him out. I'll leave his link down below. But boy, you guys are in for a treat. This was quite the game. Let's just jump right into the team preview here. He actually brings the Kecleon, which is something that quite surprised me. I felt like it was probably the least useful member out of what I was seeing, but it definitely can put in quite a fair bit of work. It's got quite a good amount of SPDF, so it could take on the Deoxys speed fairly well. But looking at it, I'm expecting for him to lead something like a Keldeo or Slowbro to put on some pressure, or like Exegil Gigalith to try to get rocks up, something like that. I'm comfortable in my swap-ins to Keldeo, so I'm not too worried if he leads that. And so yeah, I just decided to lead Lando as he leads Keldeo. This thing does get Ice Beam and Ice Punch, so I don't want to stay in. I know I outspeed, so I just U-turn. Kecleon's really slow, so I can bring in the Roserade here, bait in Charizard as I can just go for my T-Spikes. T-Spikes are really good in this matchup. And then I go into King's Ligoo here. Walls, pretty much anything he wants to go for. Toxic is a bit unfortunate, but I am Restor. S-Slash doing 23%, absolutely nothing as I Rock Slide for a good chunk of health. And at this point I don't want to take another S-Slash, I will die to 2. So I just want to rest up as he roosts, and then I just Sleep Talk, burn a turn. He goes into Exegil, which is something I was a bit afraid of, but I've got Landorus here, quite healthy. And then he reveals to be Hidden Power Ice, which does 48%. That's a lot of damage. I cannot stay in to take another one, so I go into the Deoxys speed. With the attack drop, I can take an Earthquake if he wanted to go for that. And I can now just put on a lot of pressure as he goes into the Kecleon, revealing it to indeed be the answer, and it does only 33%, so I think that's Assault Vest damage. Either way, I don't want to take Shadow Sneak or something, so I go into the Incineroar. He knocks off my Scarf, which is a bit unfortunate. I was expecting something like a Sucker or a Shadow Sneak, but he does go into the Keldeo as I can now U-turn out into the Roserade. And then expecting a potential Z move or Charizard to come out, I go into Sligoo. And then expecting the Exegil to come out, I go into Lando T to heal back to full. And then he Hidden Power Ices and unfortunately kills me. That does reveal that he either got Max Roll twice or is Special Attack invested. I'm assuming it's the second because he wouldn't risk it otherwise, and then I just go into Deoxys. Click Focus Blast, I don't want to risk anything. He goes into the Slowbro, and I can just Thunderbolt it as he Psyshocks for very little. Slowbro didn't have anything that he could really do to hit me, so he just sacks it off here. It wasn't particularly good in this matchup anyway, and once again I don't want to take any moves from him, but I don't want to risk a knockoff on a double into Keldeo, sorry, on the thing, so I go into my Ninetales, and then he goes Gigalith, so I can go into Roserade here as he sets up his rocks. So I'm in a bit of a scary situation here. Exegil can come in pretty handily. I don't want to let that happen, so I Giga Drain. I've got this Ligoo to go into if he goes Zard, but he slashes here. I just try to burn another turn as he goes into the Exegil. I want to make sure that I can burn my turn so I can keep it healthy. And then Incineroar is the most expendable Pokemon on my team as it lost the Scarf, doesn't beat much on his team. So I just sack it off so I can get a switch into Deoxys. This gives me a kill here. I go for the Z move. I expected potential Gigalith to come out. I didn't want to risk a miss on Kecleon because then I would lose a lot of momentum. And then he just goes into Charizard here. I choose to sack it to the Thunderbolt. I thought he might switch out into Exegil, but I didn't want to risk it and not do enough damage to kill him afterwards, so I go Ninetales here. Blizzard here is a 2-hit KO after the poison damage, thankfully. So I'm able to get rid of the Sand, which is huge for me. It really claws me back out the game because I can now just switch into Roserade on the sack. It wasn't really doing anything else in the game. It only beat Keldeo, which I have both of these Pokemon for as well. I can now bring in the Ninetales to click Blizzard. Freeze Dry would unfortunately not kill the Exegil, and not wanting to risk a Scarf or Aqua Gel or something, I go right into Sligoo. I can take another Rock Switch in. He reveals to be Hidden Power Steel or something else to hit it, maybe Hidden Power Fire, and then he goes for a Z move to kill me off with the Sub-Zero Slammer, while also dying to Hail and Poison. That's a kill for Roserade. I can then go into Ninetales. Unfortunately, the Drought cancels my Hail, so I need to hit 2 Blizzards, which is something we're not known for at all, but we do manage to hit both Blizzards and clinch out the game with Ninetales Alola. This was really a nail-biter at the time. I was definitely shaking, very worried this entire game. Extra Jewel just put on so much pressure after the Hidden Power Ice was able to kill my Landorus. So yeah, definitely very scary game. Good to see that we're still having some close games in this league. So I was happy to win this one. Didn't want to go down 3-3. That would have been quite a heartbreaker. But yeah, we beat probably the hardest opponent we have, maybe aside from Cody and obviously Ian because of matchup. So that's a great win to pick up. Make sure to check out Hutch's perspective. The link to his channel will be down in the description. And yeah, see you guys next week. Peace.